Dear student, today we will learn about the principles of pollution control. So let's begin with the saying of one of the environmentalists named Paul Hawken. According to Paul Hawken, pollution and waste are symptoms, not causes of the environmental crisis. He actually defined as pollution as the symptom and cause of the environmental crisis. So pollution is not environmental crisis, it is actually the symptom that will lead to the environmental crisis. So this concept should be in mind of every environmentalist. Now let's see what pollution is. Can you see pollution in this picture? Yes, of course. You can see aquatic pollution, you can see land pollution, you can see air pollution everywhere. What are major types of pollution? How can we categorize pollution? So, broadly speaking, we can categorize pollution into air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution. These are not the only pollution from which we come across, but they are the major ones. So, we will deal in our lesson only the major one. So see, this is a graphical pie chart of some facts and figures that is received by Environmental Complaint Service. So noise pollution, it says this complaint says that noise pollution is almost 11%, solid waste on 14%, odor 13%, wastewater 15%, air 21%, and other, as I told you that beside these we have some other pollution also. So we categorize them as others, and they are almost 26%. So how can we define pollution? So pollution is the introduction of contaminants into the environment. What do we mean by contaminant? Contaminant means one which has the potential of detracting anything. Contaminants, basically they are microorganisms and particulate matter. You are well aware of microorganism, but let me tell you that particulate means particles whose particle size is very small. They are almost of micron size that cannot be seen through our naked eyes. We call them particulate. So introduction of contaminants into the environment that are capable of causing and harming or discomforting to human or other living organism are defined as pollution. We can define pollution in many ways. One of the way is that pollution that damages the environment, which can come in the form of chemical substances or energy such as noise, heat, or light. All right. After understanding the term pollution, let's move to environmental pollution. As our course title is environmental science, so we should know what do we mean by saying environmental pollution, because it's a very common term we are using nowadays, that our environment is getting polluted day by day. So, what do we mean actually? So, environmentalists say the contamination of physical and biological components of the earth or atmosphere system to such an extent that normal environmental processes are adversely affected. See, this definition is written in inverted comma. Now I'm going to explain you this meaning. The contamination of physical and biological contaminants of the components of the earth. You know very well about the components of the earth. You have done atmosphere, you have done hydrosphere, biosphere, lithosphere. We all have done atmosphere in detail in our previous sessions. Now, so any sort of contamination, either it's physical or biological, that can cause that can deviate in normal environmental scenario, and obviously on the other hand affect human body or any living organism, is categorized as environmental pollution. Air pollution. First, we will see air pollution. Air pollution is an atmospheric condition in which certain substances like gases, particulate matter, radioactive substances are present in concentration which can cause undesirable effects on human environment. Particulate matter, as I told you in earlier slide, that particulate matter are those particles whose particle size are very very small. They are microscopic in size. That's why we cannot see them through our naked eyes. So we categorize them as particulate matter. Although these particles are very, very less in size, almost microscopic, but they have very adverse effect on human body. They can enter in our body through nose, through air, even through eyes, and they have the potential to penetrate our lungs. So particulate matter has very adverse effect on human health. Radioactive substances, you know that there are some substances whose atomic mass is very heavy, almost 200 and above. So we call them heavy metal, and these heavy metal radiate some rays, and those rays are called radioactive rays, and those substances which emit radioactive rays are called radioactive substances. Radioactive substances, I repeat, these are the substances which have the capability of emitting radio rays automatically, naturally. It happens naturally. Naturally, they emit throughout their existence a ray that is called radioactive ray. So those substances, all the substances are not capable of emitting rays. There are few elements on the earth that are capable of emitting these rays. So those substances are categorized as radioactive substances. So radioactive substances, particulate matter, are which are present in a concentration that can cause adverse effect on human environment are called air pollutant. What are the sources of these air pollutant like particulate matter, radioactive substances? So their sources are dust of drugs produced during mining and sieving. You know, we are rich in metal ore. So mining and sieving, that is basically done in our extraction areas where people work, and they do not have any precautionary measures to be adopted. So they inhale these particulate matter, and they come across with these radioactive substances. So they obviously they suffer from these particulate matter and radioactive substances. They may cause lung cancer. In severe cases, radioactive substances may cause cancer and may damage any organ of your body on which it falls, and ultimately if it is not treated, it may lead to death. If we classify all sort of air pollutant, so we say that basically there are two types of pollutant. One sort of pollutant we say primary pollutant, in which we have carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, NO2, SO2, volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds are also called as hydrocarbons. Volatile organic compounds are those compounds which has the ability to evaporate if it is exposed to air. I repeat, volatile organic compounds or hydrocarbons are those organic compounds. Organic means compound made up of carbon and hydrogen. So volatile organic compounds are made up of carbon and hydrogen. But what make it volatile? Volatile may, they are volatile because they are capable of evaporating into the air. Once they are exposed, they will evaporate in the air. So they are called volatile organic compounds. And suspended particulate matter. Suspended when they hang out. They don't go anywhere, they hang out, they are present continuously in the air. If we talk about secondary pollutant, so sulfuric acid, nitric acid, carbonic acid are called secondary pollutant. They are the source of acid rain. Acid rain are caused due to secondary pollutant. So it is clear that air pollutants are of two types, primary pollutant and secondary pollutant. Primary pollutants include carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, or volatile organic compounds. Yeah, it means hydrocarbons and other suspended particulate matter. While secondary pollutants are categorized as sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and carbonic acid. Nature of air pollution. So the pollutants present in the air should be identified and categorized so that appropriate measure can be adopted to combat pollution. Likely, as we if we suffer from any disease, so what doctor does first? He first diagnose our disease. First diagnosis takes place, and then diagnosis is followed by the treatment. So likely, first we have to understand what sort of pollutant is present. We have to categorize that pollutant, and then we'll act accordingly if we want to eliminate that from that atmosphere. So if we see the solid matter, so light, fine and coarse particulate hydrocarbons, aromatics are present in the air pollution. Acha. If we see the liquid substances, so smoke, soot, fly ash. Fly ash means it's a smoke that is very lighter. Actual smoke is heavier, but the fly ash is lighter. They can fly. Ash that can fly is called fly because they are lighter. Dust, mist, fumes, organic acid, and inorganic acid. In gases, we in the air pollution are of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide. Major air pollutants are carbon dioxide, CO2, sulfur oxide. I told you in the class also when we were having our physical classes, the sulfur oxides are commonly known as SOx. Why SOx? Because sulfur oxide may be of different types. They may form sulfur monoxide, they may form sulfur dioxide. It means the sulfur may combine with one oxygen, then it will be called sulfur monoxide. Mono means one. If sulfur combines with one oxygen, we call it sulfur monoxide. If sulfur combines with two oxygen atom, we call it sulfur dioxide. So collectively we have given a common name of a combination of sulfur and oxygen, and we call it SOx. Likely, nitrogen may combine with atmospheric oxygen with one atom of oxygen. They may combine with two atoms of oxygen. So, if nitrogen combines with one oxygen atom, it is called nitrogen monoxide. If nitrogen combines with two oxygen atoms, it would be called nitrogen dioxide. But we have given one word to them and we call it NOx. Then carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, I told you earlier in previous lecture that carbon monoxide is a fatal gas. Fatal gas means that if it is present in 0.05%, so it will cause death of human body. It is a deadly gas. We cannot tolerate this gas at all. Particulate matter, they are also written as PM. PM. Here, PM does not mean Prime Minister, it means particulate matter. Sources of air pollution. What are the sources of air pollution? If pollution is of air type, so what are their sources? They may be emitted from power stations, they may be emitted from the chimneys of the industries, they may be emitted from our vehicles, they may be emitted from burning of solid waste, and emission from natural sources such as volcanic eruption and forest fires. So that also emit our air pollution. So see the last one, volcanic eruption and forest fires, they are natural disasters. We cannot have a control on this. But what about the power station emission, industrial emissions, vehicular emissions, and solid waste burning emissions? These are the anthropogenic activities. It means these are the emission that is basically due to the human activity. Human are blamed for these emissions, except the last one that is natural almost. So, air pollution, how can it be prevented? It can be prevented by different techniques. So, we will discuss here two fundamental ways to prevent air pollution. First, we will see the preventive technique. Okay, what preventive technique can be adopted to reduce air pollution from the environment? It include use of devices for removal of pollutant from exhaust gases like scrubbers, dry and wet collectors, filters, electrostatic precipitators. I repeat, for preventive techniques of air pollution, we require different devices. What sort of devices? Those devices that can remove pollutant from exhaust gases. In these devices, we have scrubbers, dry and wet collectors, filters, electrostatic precipitators. Basically, these are used in our vehicles. A building of high stake facility of discharging of pollutant into air. This is also one of the preventive technique. If we build higher state facility for discharging of pollutant into air. Second technique is effluent control. Effluent control. Effluent control, substitution of raw material causing more pollution with that of less pollution causing material. Substitution of raw material that can cause more pollution with that of less polluting causes material. Use of non-conventional fuel. Non-conventional fuels are gobar gas, biogas, CNG, and LPG that should be encouraged and prepared in large scale so that it can help us in minimizing air pollution. Now, water pollution. Water pollution refers to the contamination of water bodies only. These may include what sort of water bodies we have. We have lakes, we have rivers, oceans, aquifers, and groundwater. I hope aquifer, everybody remember what I told you about aquifer. Aquifer is found deep under the soil, and in aquifer we have potable water. Pure water is stored in a place beneath the soil, and that place we call aquifer. So water pollution refers to the contamination of water bodies. They may be include lakes, rivers, oceans, aquifers, groundwater, ponds, major water pollutants. We categorize water pollutant as organic contaminant, inorganic contaminants, solid waste, thermal pollution. If we talk about organic contaminants, so they may be categorized as detergent, different sort of herbicides, detergent like your surf, washing surf, detergent are organic contaminant because they contain sulfur. That is the source of eutrophication. Herbicides, different herbicides that are used in our agriculture to kill pesticides and different sort of herbs. So herbicides, they also contain pollution, and they may cause water pollution. If we talk about inorganic contaminants, so heavy metals, ammonia, and some other heavy metals means what? Heavy metals means all those metals whose atomic size are either 100 or more than 100 are categorized as heavy metals. Now, solid waste, obviously we all know that what sort of solid waste we produce. We produce waste of plastic. Basically, majority of our waste belongs to plastic, paper, and food waste. Thermal pollution, discharge of warm water into water bodies by factories. We know that our industries do not have any treatment plant for draining of their waste. They discharge their drain directly into our water bodies without any treatment. In actual what should happen, there should be a treatment plant run in each industry, in each factory, so that before draining these their discharge into the water bodies, it should undergo through a treatment process, and toxic or heavy matter should be stored in the treatment plant, and it should not be drained in water. What would happen if industries discharge their pollutant, their drain directly into the water body? So that water body will be contaminated with toxic metal or a heavy metal. What these heavy metal or toxic metal can do, they can cause severe health effect on human body. We are suffering from thermal pollution. You know that our farming activities are in Karachi is basically done in from the water from Liari and Malir River. Malir and Liari River receives water from different industries, and obviously these water are untreated. These drain water contains heavy metal, toxic metal. Once they are drained or flown to the Malir and Liari River, so agriculture activities, our vegetables are grown from those water, our fruits are grown from those water. So those water contains those toxic or heavy metal. When we eat these vegetables and fruits, They cause cancer. Can you see? Cancer disease is increasing rapidly in our environment. I think everybody of you who is listening to me right now is nodding his head that yes, I do have someone in my relative who is suffering from cancer. So cancer is increasing rapidly just because of these type of pollution in our water bodies. Sources of water pollution, as we know, it comes from sewage. Our sewage, you know, our sewage system is very pathetic. Nobody never cares for our sewage system improvement. Runoff of pesticide and fertilizers. We use pesticides without knowing its adverse effect on human body. We use fertilizer just to increase the yield of our production. But we never care that this high yield is obtained at the risk of human health. We never care for that. We only care for our profit. So runoff of pesticide and fertilizer is also a cause of water pollution. Solid waste disposal, there's no rule implemented in our society for solid waste disposal. Untreated effluent from industrial and other activities. If we ever visit to any government hospital in Karachi, either it's Jinnah, Abbasi, or Civil, you may come across before entering into the hospital the untreated effluent of hospital throwing here and there, in which you can see nowadays, blood of that is obtained for corona test. You may see the syringes, contaminated syringes, glucose drip, everything you can see before entering into the gate of the hospital. You will come across through the garbage that is thrown side by any hospital that is run by our government. Now, chemical and oil spills. We know that we are blessed with ocean. But what we are doing with ocean? We are detriting our ocean. We are doing very bad with our ocean. Our ocean come across with oil spill. Different oil spill occur on and off in our ocean. Different chemicals are drained in our ocean. There is no check and balance for our ocean also. Land pollution. Land pollution refers to the deposition of solid or liquid waste material on land or underground in a manner that can be contaminate the soil and groundwater, threaten public health and cause unsightly condition and nuisance. See, land pollution is very common phenomena. You can see in this picture also, and you may see around. If you see around yourself, you may come across with land pollution. You can see garbage here, throwing here and there, and that can cause long-term effect on human body, on human environment. That can contaminate our soil also, that can contaminate the groundwater also, and that can obviously threat our health issues as well. So, sources of land pollution: domestic solid waste are garbage, rubbish, trash. They are the basic source of land pollution. Construction, demolition waste, agricultural waste, industrial waste, they are the vital sources of land pollution. Noise pollution. In noise pollution, you may say noise is as unwanted sound in the wrong place at the wrong time. We call it noise. So, what are the sources of noise pollution? Various equipment in the used in the pharmaceutical manufacturing unit. Different heavy machineries that we use in pharmaceutical manufacturing unit like ball mill, receiving machines, roller, compactors, tablet punching machines, they make a lot of noise. But is this the only noise that is produced? No, this is not the only noise. We know that nowadays pressure horn in vehicles is very much common. Pressure horns are applied by the, you know, truck drivers, rickshaw drivers. Unwillingly, unwillingly they use these horns. They just want to get, I think, sort of pleasure, or they want to annoy others. So that's why they apply their loud horn without any reason. So it means that they want to get pleasure in a wrong way, and they want to annoy human being. What are the effect of noise? Noise interfere with man's health. If noise exposure is for a long time, so it may raise your blood pressure. You may come across with cardiovascular diseases, CVS cardiovascular symptoms problem. You may feel a heavy heart. Uh, this you may come across if this exposure, a heavy noise exposure, is for a long time. Elevated stress level stimulate violent behavior. You will show your anger. You will aggressive if you come across with these sort of noise for a longer period of time. Hearing damage. Of course, our hair has a limit. Our hair is not cannot hear anything, but it has hearing limit. So hearing damage can occur, but it depends on the intensity and duration of sound level. If we will hear a loud noise for a longer period of time, it may affect our hearing senses. Physiological and psychological changes affects the functioning of various system of the body. If we come across with loud noise for a longer period of time, or for the most of the time of the day, if we spend at bus stop, suppose if we are compelled to stay on a bus stop in Karachi for suppose 2 hours on daily basis, so obviously our attitude, our behavior will not be normal. We will be aggressive. We will be annoyed with these sounds very soon. Sources of noise pollution. Industry. Main source of noise pollution comes from industry, from power plants, from stone crushing. Stone crushing, it makes a loud noise. Different workshops, cabinet machine making. These are some industrial work which produce loud noise. Multi-purposes house including wedding halls or bungalows along the coast, so it will make continuously loud noise. Places of entertainment including nightclubs, road traffic. It's very common in our city. Road traffic. Most of the time of the day we observe heavy traffic and road jams, and with the road jams we are in a habit, mostly we are in a habit of applying pressure horn when the traffic is jammed. I don't know why people apply pressure horn when the traffic is jammed. If the car is stopped in front of my car, there are so many cars which are already stopped due to traffic jam. So what the pressure horn will do? It will not do anything, and only it will affect human health. Acha. Noise produced from automobiles, buses, or that silencers are not checked from on regular basis. So mostly Our youngsters are in a habit of removing silencer from their vehicles. So it creates lot of sounds and that affects our health. Community noise like using radio or playing TV or loudspeakers, heavy noise. So, of course, we have these are the social values that we have to take care that we should not make noise on individual basis. Different animals, if we suppose if we nowadays, as you know, you are boys are especially I think I'm sure they are visiting Baramandi. So the Maveshi Mandi they may come across with these sort of noise of cows, goats. So use of loudspeakers, amplify musical instruments, mechanical devices for religious activities. So before using these amplifiers or musical instrument or mechanical devices for religious activities, proper through proper channel permission should be taken from council of that locality. अच्छा, aircrafts and boats. You know, people living near airport or aircraft stations, they may come across with heavy noise on and off. Machinery like generator, very common phenomena nowadays. We all observe load shedding. We all are victim of load shedding. So there is no other option except switching on generators. So you know that how much noise a generator produces. This we observe when we switch off generator. Then we observe that oh my God, we were in such a noisy scenario. Then compressor, air conditioner, boilers at boilers runs at Port Qasim also to generate our electricity. Others include construction work, infrastructure, public gathering, vibration, and some others. But there are so much noise all around in our society. So, what are the adverse effects of noise pollution? So, noise pollution can also produce adverse effect on human health. How come? It may lose our hearing capability. I told you our hearing capability runs in a limit. Beyond that limit, if we expose to noise for a longer period of time, so of course we will lose our hearing capability. So it includes occupational hearing loss also, because some people work in industries and they do not use any precautionary measure for noise prevention. So they may lose their hair working in our industries. Stress, noise for a longer period of time can put you in great stress. It may rise your blood pressure. It Some people are so much sensitive, so for them they may lose their sleeping hours. They may not sleep 6 to 8 hours if they come across with noise for a longer period of time. They may not work properly. They may suffer from mental distraction. They if you know, if we come across with mental destruction, so our productivity will be lost. We cannot produce as much as we could if we come across with noise for a longer period of time. It may irritate us. Irritation will be developed if we come across with noise for longer period of time. Headache is a very common phenomena with the exposure of noise. Annoying and interfere with communication. We will become annoyed if we come across with the noise for a longer period of time. Fine, how can we control this noise? Yes, we can control these noise. So, what are noise control measures? An integrated approach is adopted towards noise pollution control through mass sanitization, enforcement of the existing noise regulation, use of noise amendment technologies, research in naval technology. Let, let's discuss these four one by one. Mass sensitization means that which these enforcement should be implemented. We have every regulation in our country, but these regulations are enclosed in documentation. We do not have those rules implemented in our country. For noise, you know that we all know that we never come across with any sort of challan by applying pressure horn in our vehicle. There is no regulation, there is no check and balance. There are different amendment technologies that can be used to minimize these noise pollution. At least in on the roadside we can reduce this type of noise pollution, but we are not implementing any sort of these technologies on in a regular basis. So amendment technologies can be installation of barriers between the noise source and the receiver. We can use acoustic in the design of buildings such double glaze. If we use double glazed glasses, so in our building, so it can reduce noise, especially of those residents who live nearby airport or airship stations or railway stations. They can reduce their noise if they use double glasses in their building. Installation of panels or enclosures, green belt development. It was in our country. Let me know about one thing. Uh, Environmental advisor to Prime Minister Mr. Amin Aslam said that they had program for green belt development in 2020 before Corona. So if we implement green belt development, so it can also be the source. The plants grown between the roads could be a source to reduce sound or noise. Pollution control. Now let's think about pollution control. How could we control pollution? So pollution control measures cannot eliminate pollution. Elimination cannot be done through pollution control measurement. All they can do is to mitigate its effect on the environment. What does it mean? It means that we cannot completely reduce pollution from the environment. Yes, but what can we do? We can mitigate its effect. Mitigate means minimize. Minimize its effect to a limit that could not be harmful to the human body. Pollution cannot be eliminated completely, but it can be reduced to a limit that cannot be harmful to human body. At least we can do this. Control measures are instituted at the end of the pipe program. The usefulness of control measures will depend on the pollutant and industrial circumstances. Let's see the main methods of pollution control. The capture and subsequent storage of pollutant. This can the capture and subsequent storage of pollutant, like in if in our vehicle, if in our vehicle there is emission of carbon dioxide more than the limit. So what can we do? We can use scrubbers. We can use ways to collect that pollutant in a filter before emitting in the atmosphere. Filtration, whereby airborne or waterborne pollutants are removed from the waste stream by physical methods such as meshes, filters, and other permeable membranes. Filter can be done if we see that the pollution that is going to be exposed in the atmosphere, and that is produced by, suppose, by any industry, and so we can use filtration process that can of course filter and store pollutant from the air, and unpolluted air will be exposed to the atmosphere. So in this way we can minimize air pollution. Precipitation, whereby pollutant is chemically precipitated and then captured in its transformed state or captured by physical methods such as electrostatic charges. These are the steps that must be taken through our by our industries or different factories, because these pollutions are basically produced by different industries and factories. So they must have treatment plant so that they capture the and subsequent storage of pollutant. They may use filtration process to remove from the waste stream physical and method meshes, filters, permeable barriers. They may use chemical precipitated to capture unwanted pollutant in the atmosphere. Destruction, for example, incineration or neutralization, whereby pollutants are transformed chemically or biologically into substances which are less harmful. At least industries can do this, that through their treatment plant, they are either through incineration or neutralization, they can transform chemically or biologically more harmful substances into less harmful substances. This would also minimize pollution. Next step should be taken as dilution, whereby pollutant is diluted or flushed in order to lessen its effect on any organism or any system, or concentration to lessen the effects of disposal. And evaporation or dissolution, for example, dissolving a gas in water is dissolution or evaporation. Utilization is also one of the steps, likely transforming a pollutant to a potentially useful product, such as sulfur dioxide into sulfuric acid, or using solid waste as hard coat or road bed. Out of process recycling, where the recycling is not an integral part of the production processes. Media shift is one of the steps to minimize pollution, whereby a waste stream is diverted from one medium, such as air, soil, or water, to another on the rationale that the medium shift makes the pollutant less harmful. State change. State change means what? State change is a change to the solid, liquid, or gaseous state on the rationale that the one new state is less harmful. Controlling pollutant. They may be of low cost, they may be of high cost. So see, both the option is here. We have to see what way we can go. If we look into the low cost method of controlling pollution or minimizing pollution, so we will see input reduction, efficiency improvement, and we can use reuse and recycling, and substitution can be used. If we look into the high cost steps of controlling pollution, so it may be to remove impurity or pollutant. It can be done through implanting different treatment plants in industries and factories, remediate and restore things. So it costs high price, but this is one of the way. We have both the options. low cost control phenomena as well, and high cost phenomena as well. So there are three basic ways prevent people from polluting. There are three different ways. If we really want to prevent human being from their adverse effect of pollution, so there are three phenomena, three suggestions. One is persuasion. Persuasions means what? Ask people to change polluting behavior. This can be do very well in on individual basis. How come we can do? If someone is throwing any garbage from his vehicle, like so most of us are in the habit of throwing wrappers and juice bags from our car. Once we use them, we don't care the car is moving on a road. We just throw it out. So we can do this. We can appreciate people not to do this, so we can improve our behavior first of all, and then our society's behavior. So this is also, that only we have to educate people, and it's so cheap, and it's so much effective. But on the other hand, so regulation pass laws requiring less pollution. Although laws are in Pakistan environmental policy, we do have laws for pollution, but it is not implementing. So implementation should be done. Most useful when polluters are few in numbers, and that pollution regulation should be implemented. Incentives. Why should I show good behavior towards my environment? If suppose if I am not sincere with my environment, why should I show a positive behavior towards my environment? I should get some incentive. Yes, if I am announced to get incentives, then I can think. A human psychology. We cannot say that no, I'm not that sort of person. I'm always positive towards my environment. We cannot say, because I means not I myself. I means human being. Human beings are not positive. They have no good relationship with their environment. They harm them whenever human being get opportunity to harm his environment. They avail that opportunity. This is the fact. This is a bitter truth. We should accept this. So if incentive is announced, like reward behavior that reduces pollution, so what sort of incentives? If tax incentives and subsidies for renewable energy source, so if any sort of incentive is announced by government, so I think that people will start thinking about improving their behavior towards environment. Deposit paid when potential waste is purchased, and pay as you throw schemes. Okay, where pollutant has to pay for discarding waste. So if different sort of these are few incentives, there are so many others, and you guys are smart. You can think of so many other good incentives. So if incentive is announced, so I think that we can show good behavior towards our environment as well. So these implementation are, I think, can be done on individual basis. On individual basis, we can go through these steps to reduce pollution, or in other ways to control pollution. See, what make you think this life? Yes, of course, it's your world. You have to stop pollution yourself. It's all yours. So we have to clean our area. All the world is our world and our environment. So we have to clean it, because we have spoiled it. Our Mother Earth is spoiled by us. So till now, I think everything is clear. If nothing is clear or anything you find that it's difficult to understand, you may contact me on my WhatsApp number. Thank you.